tropical mountain forest, where birds chirp joyfully, flowers bloom in full display, the cool breeze flows around the mountain streams. This makes everyone feel relaxed and comfortable. A group of people is busy and cheerful. They're setting up tents and camping here. This outdoor camping event was organized by colleagues in the company. Of course, everyone is quite young. Everyone had to carry tents and gear, hiking a very long distance up the mountain. This would be too strenuous for older folks. Originally, everyone wanted the company to organize an outdoor camping trip, but every year, the company organizes group tour with guides and shuttle buses. This year, many colleagues decisively refused to join the company's tour. Instead, the more experienced ones led this mountain camping trip. K.N. Dian has only been at this software company for 2 years. He is still full of black hair and is clearly part of the younger crowd. After setting up the tent, K.N. Dian started playing an online game on his phone with a colleague. Hey, K.N. Dian, hurry up and give me a cannon. Oh no, I'm dead. Why should I give you a cannon? If you equip it, you'll die in 2 seconds. It's better if I keep it to escape. Now look, to tombs on Pine Hill, huh? Next time you be the shooter, I'll support. Go gather some firewood. We need to start the fire, or we'll be eating canned food for lunch. In the distance, Bibun Kyun shouted to the two sitting in the tent. Got it. Okay, LS Kwon and K.N. Dian responded in unison. They glanced at each other. Both had already run out of lives in the game, so they logged out. The two stood up and headed towards the nearby forest, walking deeper into the shaded woods. In the mountains, there's no shortage of firewood. Branches are scattered everywhere. LS Kwon grabbed a large branch and waved it around, occasionally shouting, "Here, ha!" to K.N. Dian. He looked like someone who had lost his mind. To avoid any crazy martial arts injuries, K.N. Dian kept a safe distance from him. Wow, there's such an ancient tree here. Nguhu Mountain isn't a famous tourist spot, but a lot of people still come here to hike and barbecue. Shouldn't such a big tree be posted online? K.N. Dian dismissed the thought and looked towards an area obscured by the large tree. Oh, a puzzled sound came from K.N. Dian's mouth. Among the huge ancient trees was something even more surprising. A game board set on the root of one of the trees. Unconsciously, K.N. Dian took a few steps forward, approaching the board under the tree. Looking around, there were no signs or warnings for tourists, and of course, no players in sight. The black and white pieces were scattered across the board. Black seemed to form a strategic pattern, while white pieces resembled the dragon. It was a typical half-finished Go game. This piqued K.N. Dian's curiosity. Is this small Nguhu mountain becoming a tourist destination? But the game board was covered with fallen leaves, dry branches, rotting fruits, and even bird droppings, indicating it had been abandoned for a long time. Then, K.N. Dian noticed something peculiar behind the board, a rusted object near the ancient tree. Due to the rust, it had become noticeably bloated. K.N. Dian stepped closer to examine it and realized it looked like an oversized axe. Wait a second, could this be the legendary LDN game board? This thought made K.N. Dian laugh. The setup was very similar to the old legend, which only heightened his curiosity. He returned to the game board, studying it more closely. The black and white pieces were scattered across the board. K.N. Dian wasn't familiar with Go, but he couldn't help but feel that something was off. The white pieces, which formed a dragon, seemed oddly incomplete, surrounded by the chaotic black pieces. For some reason, the sense of incompleteness gnawed at K.N. Dian. He noticed two wooden containers holding the pieces next to the board. Almost instinctively, he reached for a white piece. The piece felt unusually heavy, like an iron marble, but its texture resembled porcelain. After hesitating for a moment, K.N. Dian nervously glanced around, then placed a white piece in the center of the board, a position known as Tengen and Go. Ah, much better. K.N. Dian clapped his hands, feeling relieved. He pulled out his phone, intending to snap a few photos for posterity and maybe call others to come see. But when K.N. Dian tried to unlock his phone, Nothing happened. Come on, what's going on? Dead battery. His phone had indeed run out of battery. Despite pressing the power button, the phone only vibrated briefly before turning off. When he tried again, there was no response at all. Just moments ago, his battery was at 80%, and now it was completely dead. Turning around to check, Kien Dian noticed that LS Quan, who had been fooling around earlier, was nowhere to be seen. This only made Kien Dian more confused. Did someone go missing in the mountains? Before the trip, the company's union had checked the area. Everything was supposed to be safe with clean air. Yes, someone's been missing for over half a month. A man named Kien Dian, who went camping with his colleagues. But hey, who did you come up the mountain with? Don't you know there's a search and rescue operation for a missing person? The search and rescue team members scrutinized Kien Dian, finding something strangely familiar about him. But when Kien Dian heard this, he froze in shock. Missing me for over half a month? His first reaction was disbelief. His second reaction was that something was definitely wrong. As he stood there bewildered, a wave of dizziness suddenly hit Kien Dian. His vision darkened, and all his strength seemed to drain from his body. His legs buckled, and he collapsed to the ground. During the fall, it was visible that his body had begun to wither. His lips cracked as if they had eroded away. Hey, are you okay? Help him. Hold him up. This doesn't look good. Call for assistance. The last sound Kien Dian heard in this life was the panicked cries of the two search and rescue team members from what felt like a distant place.